Welcome to Real Reviews, where we take a look at major Hollywood releases and let you know if they're worth your time, money, and patience. I'm your host, Walter Banasiak. Today, we roll out our Real Reviews red carpet for the co-star of a very popular online web series and review show. That show, the Nostalgia Critic. Since 2007, Nostalgia Critic, or NC for short, has been held in very high regard among internet reviewers and fans alike. Along with the angry video game nerd, the Nostalgia Critic show pioneered a format that many online movie, video game, and TV show reviewers use to this day. The show has continued to evolve and is still the staple of ThatGuyWithTheGlasses.com. Joining us to talk about the show's success as well as his own is one of the co-stars of the Nostalgia Critic, Malcolm Ray. Hey, how's it going? It's a real pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thanks so much. It's good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. So, you've been with That Guy with the Glasses and Channel Awesome for about 2 years now. You play many characters and provide voices for plenty of skits that are on the show.
Yep.
So growing up, did you always want to be like an actor or a voiceover artist, something like that?
Well, yeah. I mean, ever since I was like a real little kid, I know this, starts out as most actors' stories, but I just love performing for like strangers, my family. Like even when I was 5 years old, I would like put on like little puppet shows for my family, and it was always very interesting, to just elicit some kind of response, to tell a story, using my voice and moving my body around and just making people laugh. And I really wanted to be a doctor initially.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted to get into like
Dr. Malcolm Ray.
Yeah, Dr. Malcolm Ray. I wanted to, just like help people somehow. But I kept going back to acting. I kept going back to the theater. I kept going on stage, just like for church, for school,
right.
Community centers, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that this is a career that people actually do things, to make a living. And I was like, well, I think I can help people out this way. A lot of people say that, laughter is healing, that, entertainment is healing. You can help.
So you kind of are an entertainment doctor in a way.
Yeah, yes, exactly. An entertainment doctor.
Healing people through laughs and stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff like that. So.
Cool. So what got you interested in like film production and acting? Like, is there any like one thing that you watched as a kid or growing up that you were really into that like, oh, I want to do this,
Oh man, really, it's like a combination of things. I would watch movies and I'd be like, you know what, I want to do that. Like I would watch Jackie Chan films.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like Rush Hour and stuff. I'm like,
I love Rush Hour.
Yeah, I'm like, this is hilarious. This is great. It combines like two of my favorite things. It combines comedy, it combines action and martial arts and whatnot. And then like even with like cartoon shows I would watch, like anime. I was a big anime fan, like Dragon Ball Z, what have you.
Who wasn't in the 90s, right?
Right, exactly. And I realized that people had to put voices to that. Mm-hmm. And as I continued to explore, the medium of acting, I began to realize that there was like production that went into it, behind it.
Yep.
And that's how I got interested into the whole spectrum of entertainment. So when I got into high school, I had to start thinking about, colleges to go to and whatnot. And I looked at Columbia, and things just kind of took off from there.
Nice. Yeah, that was my next question. So you went to Columbia College Chicago downtown here in downtown Chicago. What was like your experience like there? I mean, throughout your college career, did you go all 4 years?
I did go all 5 years. In my
5 years?
Yes. There were some minor setbacks. Like I would take like half time, and I didn't know that would affect me in the long run. Mm-hmm. So I had to go back and finish some courses. But at first I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this because. For one, it was pretty expensive.
Columbia is very expensive. I went there for a year. Yeah, it's
it definitely punches you right in the pocket. Mm-hmm. And I was always trying to like cut expenses where I could. I commuted like for the entire time.
Right. I took the train there too. Yeah, it's a trek.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I would take the train. I'm just like, man. It was starting to really wear on me, and like the first year, they say get your general eds out the way, get those elective courses out the way, the maths, the writing.
That's what they tell you.
Yeah, that's what they tell you, and I tried doing that. I'm like, I can't do this. I came here for a specific reason.
Exactly, and you're paying all this money to take, film classes.
Right.
And you're at this big film school taking math.
Right.
Like,
and,
what am I doing?
Yeah, science lab stuff, and I'm just like, no. So I decided to start, just getting right into it. And even then, it was pretty taxing. But by my like the end of my sophomore year, I started finding, myself. I started.
That's good.
Yeah. I realized that, I do like being in front of the camera, but, is there a way to kind of, solidify a career in this? Because, as I began to learn more about it, I was like, all of these goals and aspirations aren't guaranteed. So I got into casting. I learned a lot about casting. I actually ended up pretty much concentrating in casting. And I did my internship at a casting agency in Chicago.
Wow.
And it was through them that I had started learning more about voice acting. And that made me go back to Columbia, because I was getting ready for my junior year, and I looked through the elective courses, and I'm like, you know what? Do you have anything voice related? And they're like, oh, sure, let's look it up. And to my surprise, there were voice acting classes. I'm like, oh my God, what have I been doing all this time?
They have a lot of varying. That's one good thing about Columbia is they have really specific courses.
Yeah, and it surprised me. I thought it would have been in like the theater building or something, but it was in the radio department. And it kind of made me go like, well, duh. And so I enjoyed Columbia a lot because of all the various courses it had. It allowed me to explore film as well as acting, like simultaneously.
Right.
And I like that you're able to kind of create your own set of courses.
Right.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it was a good experience for you there.
Yeah.
So so how did you get involved with that guy with the glasses then?
Yep. This actually segues perfectly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it's like through my endeavors in voice acting in the radio department that I ended up on that guy with the glasses. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So yeah, just bear with me. I'm gonna try to make it as compact as possible.
We're all listening, Malcolm.
Okay.
That's fine. Go ahead.
All right. So I was in a radio production 1. This is where you learn how to edit audio, and they said that this is kind of something that you should consider taking, being a voice actor, because in a lot of situations you have to edit your own audio.
Yeah.
So, I was in there one day, and, I'm just doing my coursework and whatever, and there's this girl, Sheila Gagne. She's also a very great voice actor in her own respect, and a good friend of mine. She was, like, editing a video in an audio class. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing editing this video? And she said, Doug Walker's holding auditions for a new show in the Chicagoland area. And I'm like, Doug Walker, why does that sound so familiar? And she's like, the Nostalgia Critic. I'm like, oh, really? He's still doing stuff? Because I lost track of his work because, he left YouTube and started his own site.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was like, wow. And so, I looked up his website. I'm like, wow, he's still doing a lot of stuff. I think I want to get in on this. And she's like, well, you better hurry because today's the deadline. And I'm like, what? So, like, I almost...
You're rushed, huh?
Yeah, I almost didn't even want to do it. Like, I almost didn't want to audition because I'm like...
you did.
Yeah. So I went home. I just, like, slapped together a quick video because they said, if you want to act, just tell us a little bit about your experience and what you want to do. So I put together stuff that I did from school. I did kind of like a vlog sort of format where I just kind of talked to the camera, and I was like, hey, my name is Malcolm Ray. I do this, that, and that. And I go to Columbia and I put it all together. I'm like, great, now I can send it out. Back then, YouTube's uploading was not the greatest. So I was up until 5 a.m. trying to get this thing on YouTube, and then email the link to the Channel Awesome talent pool thing.
Right.
And
sounds pretty daunting.
Yeah, and just to give you an idea of how slim it was, of how I just barely made it in at all. It was Rob's wife, Doug's brother's wife, that was just kind of going through all of the entries. And they were done at this point. They were just kind of like, going through like the final, you know,
Right, last
picks.
couple ones.
Yeah, and she was like, "You guys got to check this guy out. He's pretty funny." So to this day, I'm very grateful she did that because I got a call back, and the rest is just kind of history. And then I got into demo reel, and that was an experience in of itself.
Right.
Demo reel.
Right. So if we can go back just for a second. So you mentioned that you watched Nostalgia Critic a little bit before. So were you a fan of his before you got cast? Like, I mean, I know you said you lost track, but did you watch him pretty consistently for a while?
Yeah, I did. Honestly, at first, like, you know, this whole internet medium was a new deal for me. And I'm like, who is this crazy person that's just tearing apart movies I like? Who, the nerve is this
what
guy?
He does, right?
Yeah, it's what he does. And I realized that he was a character because I was a fan of the nerd, Angry Video Game Nerd. Yeah, I was a big fan of him. And so when they had that whole feud going on.
Feud.
Yeah, feud, which, you know, we found out later it was just all set up.
It was a cool time, though. I remember that.
Yeah, it was an amazing time. Like, I was totally on the nerd side. I'm like, hey, you're totally ripping off of James. So.
Did you ever tell Doug that?
Yeah, I did. And
what did he say?
He was like, we laugh about it because he has gotten that a lot. Because like he's had to tell people that this is a character, you know.
Right.
So, you know, it's an act. And that's when I started to appreciate his work. But the moment I did, that's when he started having issues with YouTube.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know, all the copyright stuff. So he had to start like opening up different accounts.
Yeah, that's a trick a lot of people use.
Yeah, and so that's how I got hooked on Nostalgia Critic, and now I'm back.
Now you're back,
Now
and
I'm
you're
back.
on it.
And I'm on it. It's still very surreal.
Yeah, so what's it like to be like internet famous? I mean, it's not exactly mainstream famous,
Right.
but you have to get recognized like a decent amount, do you?
I do. It's very interesting because people like come up to me and they say, you know, you look familiar. You look very familiar. And I'm just like, I don't want to be like, well, yes, you know me, my work. Yeah.
Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah, Nostalgia
Heard
Critic.
of it?
It's like, oh, no, you were the cashier at Walmart. I'm like, oh, yeah. And so, you know, I try to be careful with it because, you know, I'm not like a big boastful kind of guy. You know, I do like to acknowledge that they, you know, watch the show, and I'm very grateful whenever I meet a fan.
Right.
So it's just like, you know, when I'm out in public, you know, I do get stares because like some people just don't know how to like approach me, you know.
Right.
And so that's why I say unto anyone viewing, if you recognize me, you know, don't be afraid to come up. I'd be more than happy to talk to you. You know, I love talking about it. Hence why I'm on the show.
That's pretty cool. You know, I actually, I saw you one time outside before I knew Erica knew you. Did you go? I think you had to because I saw you there. You were at the Chicago auditions for Star Wars.
Yes, I was there. Actually,
Yeah.
I got a lot of pictures with people, and it's like I'm on some vlogs that people went out. When people went out there, they were doing vlogs and stuff. I'm on their videos, and that was an interesting experience.
Yeah, that was a waste of time for me.
Yes,
That's another story.
It really was.
It was so cold, and
Yeah.
it wasn't even really an audition. It was like shaking the hand of the casting director or something.
I know, right? Like,
That was such a lie.
yeah, cattle calls. I realize as an actor, you
Oh, the
gotta
line
be,
was so long.
Yeah, you gotta be wary of those cattle calls
Right.
because most of the time it's just a publicity stunt.
That's I think what this was. So
Yeah.
I remember you walked by the line, and I was like, "Who's this guy cutting in line?" I look over like, "Oh, it's Malcolm Ray." It's like Malcolm Ray. And he was like, "Wait," I was like, "Yeah."
Wait, was I cutting in line?
You were like moving up. I didn't know if you already had a spot or whatever. It was-
Oh yeah, like cause like I was trying to find like the beginning of the
Oh
line.
my God! Me and my friend went so far back. It was an
I was going
insane
for blocks and blocks, and then like
couple hours. Man.
yeah, because like some people were asking me if I wanted to like jump in line. I'm like, no, and then as I like reached that 7th block, I was like,
Yeah, let me jump in line.
yeah. Well, I did run into some like classmates, like people that actually knew me, like, hey Malcolm, come on over. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, sure.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that was an experience.
Oh man, yeah. So I just stick with my agents for auditions now.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, we talked a little bit earlier about demo reel. So, you got into demo reel, you were cast in that show, and this was at a time where Doug was getting away from Nostalgia Critic. It was a big risk for him
Yeah.
to sort of for lack of a better term, abandon his main character for his website.
Yeah.
So he started up this new show called Demo Reel, and he was still in it, and he had different characters in it. You were cast as one of the characters.
Yep.
So it didn't really last that long. I think it was like 7 episodes or something like that. Why do you think it didn't work?
Well, it didn't work for a variety of different reasons. I think mainly because he just kind of came to a screeching halt with Nostalgia Critic. And I'm not trying to bash you, Doug. It's like, I'm not trying to bash you. I'm just saying, like, you know, this is just my own personal take on it. You know, it's like, you know, being dumped in cold water. People are like, no, Nostalgia Critic.
You get withdrawal.
Yeah, you get withdrawals. And so people just were not ready for that. They wanted to, you know, get like a steady introduction to his other things. Because, I mean, he had other shows going on too. I think he had, the bum reviews were going on.
Bum reviews never stopped.
Yeah, and people were fine with that. But it's like, you stopped Nostalgia Critic just to do this, and you know it's new for these new strange people.
Yeah,
what?
I know people were really upset. I remember reading some comments and like, wow, like this isn't that bad. Jeez.
Yeah, people rebelled pretty hardcore against it. And yeah, that's one of the reasons. But as it continued to air, people started to warm up to it. But it just wasn't cutting the numbers that, you know, the Nostalgia Critic was getting. So it couldn't hold its own.
But you know, it's not like he's not doing well now. Nostalgia Critic is back, and the episodes are better than ever, I think, because you're in it, and Tamara's in it, and Rachel was in it before.
Yeah.
And their own storylines within the episodes now, and it makes it even more entertaining.
Yeah, it's like Doug got a new burst of inspiration, and he was.
And that's great, because
willing to bring us in. I was so grateful because after Demo Reel ended, I was a little uncertain.
Yeah, I would be too. I think you know that show gets canceled, specifically what you were brought in for.
Right.
And am I still going to be kept around, or?
Yeah, I was kind of like, well, you know, that's the nature of the game. I was willing to accept whatever, you know, blow fate had dealt me, but it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
And he actually managed to merge 2 concepts together into a much greater product that I think everybody enjoys.
Yeah, the resurrection of the Nostalgia Critic is a really cool thing. So I hope it keeps going for a long time.
Thank you.
So what's it like working with Doug and Rob, the Walker brothers?
They're really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Like they're just very cool to be around. Like I call Rob the wry one, and the wry one, because he's got a very good sense of sarcasm.
I could tell in just the videos they put up, like he's coming at him.
Oh yeah, and I love it. He's great, and Doug himself is just bursting with energy. Like the Nostalgia Critic isn't too far off from his own personality. It's just him just dialed up to 20.
I gotcha.
But yeah, aside from that, they're very personable people. Like they're easy to work with and get along, and really laid back. Like there's no drama on set. Like
that's great.
You know, and it's smooth sailing. And like it's really weird. Like right off the bat, we had this sort of chemistry going. Like we're just able to like relate to one another's sense of timing and comedic preferences, and we just ended up working great together, and it just worked out.
That's great. Yeah, you're great on the show, so I'm glad it's going as long as it has.
Thanks so much.
So what's it like working with Rachel Teets, and how does she differ from Tamara Chambers, who just came on the show, the other co-stars?
Let's see. Rachel, she like they have their own acting styles. They're both great to work around. Like actually, Rachel and Tamara are friends. Like, they were roommates, and they actually auditioned together. And so Tamara was the runner-up. And when we found out that Rachel was leaving to California, it was just natural that Tamara would kind of precede her. But yeah, they're great working with. And Rachel, like her acting style is a little different from Tamara. Like Tamara's more like she's more stand-up comedic oriented,
Okay.
whereas
So maybe more improv or something?
actually Rachel's more improv.
Rachel's more improv.
Yeah,
Okay.
but Tamara's more stand-up. Rachel is more like theater oriented, I'd say. They both come from a theater background, but Tamara has that stand-up comedy aspect going on too, whereas I think Rachel's more focused on musical theater.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can see the styles like in their approach to performing a scene. It's really interesting. It's an actor thing, mumbo jumbo.
An actor thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though. So what is your favorite Nostalgia Critic review and why? Either if you're on it or not on it, what's your favorite one and why?
Oh, my favorite one. Let's see. I'll give you one of each. One that I'm not on and one that I am on.
Okay.
My favorite one that just kind of lingers in my mind that I constantly go back to, because there's a certain jingle that he parodies in this review. He did a review of Howard the Duck.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And there's a particular scene where they show a female duck's chest.
Yes, right.
And he does a parody of a song.
Howard the Duck.
Yeah, called DuckTales, but instead of DuckTales, he says duck.
Right, I got you.
And it was just the funniest thing. I'm like, why am I laughing so hard? It's something so immature. But yeah, that was great. I love that review. And he kind of gave me a better perspective on just what his style is, his approach to reviewing is. And that's when I got him. I'm like, okay, I get him now. It's like, this guy he's funny. And then a favorite review of mine that I'm in, I would have to say it's a split between the Shining miniseries review, where I get to play myself, channel awesome version of myself. It's just me, like, exaggerated.
Right.
And then there's the Devil review.
Yep.
Yes.
I think that might be where this picture is from, maybe.
Oh no, actually, this character, the Devil character,
This is Mr. Bub, or
yeah, he's been dubbed Mr. Zabub.
Mr. Zabub.
Yeah, Beelzebub. Yeah, this is actually from the Son of the Mask review where he first debuted, but he's appeared in several other reviews since then because he's such a popular character that I love to play. But the Devil review was where I really got to just kind of go all out with his character, even though it wasn't really him if you watch that review. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Just watch the Devil review, guys.
Let's go check it out right now.
Yeah, go watch it right now, and then come back, and then we'll continue.
We'll still be here.
Yeah, we'll still be here. The Devil character is like one of my favorite characters to play next to, like, side by side, it's either like the channel awesome version of myself or the Devil. It's like one of those two.
That's a good comparison there. Okay, so you've been on Nostalgia Critic for about 2 years now, I think? Or, well, not Nostalgia Critic, but with Channel Awesome for about 2 years.
Yeah.
So how long do you see yourself on Nostalgia Critic, and what do you think would be next for you?
Oh, man, that is a good question.
Have you thought about that?
I have thought about it. I mean, I'm willing to stay with the production company for as long as the foreseeable future, even if I say I go on to do some big blockbuster film, let's say I get in on Steven Spielberg's set.
Right.
Please, God. That would be awesome. I mean, I would still want to, do episodes with Doug and the team because they're cool. It actually feels more like a family. I like being around them. They're more than just, coworkers.
Right.
And case in point, on my birthday, we were at Anime Midwest the other week. He brought a cake up to my room, with everybody. I was like, oh my goodness, you guys.
That's
really?
Nice.
Yeah, I was just so warmed by that experience. And yeah, it was really touching. They did forget to bring something to cut the cake with, but I didn't mind. I didn't mind because
So we didn't bring a knife.
Yeah, because I'm glad because I didn't want to go in the room because my roommates just kind of trashed the place.
Oh,
so
no.
I was like, oh, let's not go in the room.
That's pretty cool. Okay, well, what would be your dream goal? I mean, where do you want to end up in the film industry? Yeah,
it's still very surreal to think about, like to project that far in the future, I want to start my own production company. Like that's my big goal. I want to have my own company where I produce films of different genres. Like I've always wanted to explore like horror. I've always wanted to do like martial arts, like action films and stuff like that. And I've always wanted to just kind of like even genre twist, like do a hybrid. Like I've always wanted to do like a martial arts horror film.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I've always wanted to try something like that. So yeah, definitely further on in the future, like that's like a big goal, like my like life achievement bucket list kind of goal.
Right.
I want to start my own production company, but short-term goal, I want to break into the industry, like become a maybe not like A-list actor. I mean, I know that's a
Just get your foot in the door. You mean
I want to get in there. I want to I want to do a movie. I want to be maybe a supporting actor in some role. Like if I got to like be the guy that just like said a few lines to like Will Smith or something, I would be like incredibly happy doing it. Like I get butterflies just thinking about it, like
Right. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Okay, this is time for our lightning round.
Okay.
Okay, this is as short as possible, these answers. Okay, so you said you're a fan of the Angry Video Game Nerd. Are you seeing the movie in Chicago?
Yes, I do want to see it. It's going to premiere in Chicago?
It's premiere in Chicago.
Wait, when?
Yes, August 6th. They keep adding dates. There's 2 screenings August 6th, and there's one August 14th. I try to go online. They're all sold out, so I had to call there. And you have to actually go to the theater to get the ticket. So I did that the other day.
Oh my
it was a
goodness.
trek because it's on the north side of Chicago for me. But I did it. So there's still like 12 tickets left for each screening.
Okay, yeah.
As of the recording of this video.
Oh my
So-
goodness, I need to like get on my phone and like go buy it or something.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, I want to do that, yeah.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Off the top of my head, I like the Kung Fu Panda series.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm a big fan of animation.
All right, great. Favorite actor?
Favorite actor? Actually, Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Yes,
All right.
I
Good
love
choice.
Will Smith.
Favorite cartoon show?
Cartoon show, Sam and Max.
Sam and Max.
I love Sam and Max.
Okay, I know you put some fan dubs on some of those comics too.
Well, yes, I do. I do a little bit of Sam. And then Max is a little bit harder to do. It takes me a while to warm up for him.
Higher octave there.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, well, we're going to wrap things up. But I'd like to thank Malcolm Ray for talking with us today about his experience being on the Nostalgia Critic. You can find new episodes of the Nostalgia Critic every Tuesday on thatguywiththeglasses.com.
Yep.
Stay tuned for more real reviews coming soon. And remember, if it's not reviewed here, it just isn't real. I'm Walter Banasiak. It's been Malcolm Ray. And I will see you at the movies.